supposed to be the
Yeah, so it's supposed to be Caitlyn, and so it was just, and brain rewiring, that's okay. I did the cogs problem thing again.
You got there, though.
Well, did I? I don't know. Okay, one more band come through here on HLE's side before we get into the picks. We'll see what Bin is going to be locking down for their first one.
No Orianna ban thus far.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the last one for HLE? There's actually the Nocturne.
Wow.
So Orianna up and available for Nice. This blew teams out of the water in the LPL, and we saw what he could do at MSI as well. I would not be surprised if that's the immediate lock here.
I mean, Zeka needs an answer to this. They have to have understood that this is exactly what they're walking into, but this is such a risk with match point on the table.
And the Akali gone, what has been one of the answers to it already. Yone taken away, like, Zeka, I'm not sure what he has in the tank, and I think that's why BLG trying to think this one through, run down the clock to try and figure out what are the potential answers.
Yeah, you're kind of like, okay. Well, yeah, what is this a bait? Because I'm going to do it. Let's see what the answer ends up being, because you also banned away the, even with banning away the Nocturne and the fearlessly used up Nafiri, you don't have like the most aggressive ball delivery systems. Jarvan also off the table from Fearless. But there's so many other ways, and we've also seen people just flash in with it. So are going to have to at least deny the Vi, and then maybe we do get our like Vi Ahri or Spy something with some kill pressure to try and get, say, a jungle mid kill pressure on that Orianna and punish the low mobility.
Wonder if Shun is going to end up opting in towards the Pantheon then, like try and have, when the Orianna's on a side lane, the ability to try and protect her, because that's the main focus oftentimes when you take something like the Vi is attack this Orianna as she's set up in the side lane. Also having the Varus there to clear out some of these waves, open up the light to try and play for those side lanes as well.
Oh, a huge roar from the crowd as one of Gumayusi's most famous champions is locked in. Obviously flexible, could be going to Zeus towards that top side of the map, but you imagine everyone here in Daejeon is hoping that that goes over to Guma. As now, Shun and Knight to round out what we're going to see from BLG before we get into some more bans. And there is that Pantheon that you were talking about, Dagda. Will it then just be a bin pick for the top side of the map? Or what is it going to be? That is sort of my question here, as the Ezreal for Viper will be the answer.
So
the extra safety in the poke.
Yeah, that's the main one that they're trying to focus on, and something that Viper has been very strong on as well, being able to keep himself in check and really power through these team fights when he gets an advantage. And I think that's where, again, you're going to be looking now at, hey, can we answer for some of these picks? Because BLG want to keep that counter pick for Bin so he can be a threat on sides and kind of open up for Pantheon if he has an option.
And HLE just double down.
They did.
4 point and click dive here. Nautilus and Vi to really put pressure onto this Orianna. I mean, yeah, Viper locks in a little bit of safety there with the Ezreal to be able to arcane shift away, but they're going to put as much pressure as they possibly can onto Knight.
This is going to be a very mobile bouncy castle that's going to be chasing Viper wherever he wants to arcane shift. So ban going to be coming in finally here for HLE. See where they're going to be focusing. I imagine top side of the map is probably what they're going to be looking at, but still a fair bit of flexibility, and instead it's going to be the Alistar taken away.
So still the focus on towards On, trying to limit his champion pool, but it does mean that Bin, if he really wants to, could still opt in towards something like the Zaahen. It's one of his most played champions coming in from the LPL. My biggest worry for them is that while he has a good win rate on the champion, sometimes he kind of overextends in team fights and doesn't play the front to back as much as you'd want from a Zaahen. So, but I think with this sort of composition, it would then deviate the Varus into this on-hit build, which then opens up kind of him playing in range of this Orianna. So maybe it's an option that BLG want to go for.
And since HLE are showing so much commitment to the dive, I mean, you're thinking about the other like possible counter dive things that we have available still to be selected. Dude, what do you think about pivots to like Braum and stuff like that, and just look to be able to have team fight presence when you know they're going to be able to come in for the commitment? Like, regardless whether the Varus is bottom or top side, they're going to be looking to follow up on a Vi or a Nautilus and use that chain of corruptions to spread through your team. So trying to get some kind of counter or blocker.
Ooh, okay, so the Vayne is going to be the ban away here. Probably not what HLE we're going to lock in right now, because they're going to be looking for Zeka's answer to the Orianna at this stage. With the Ahri banned away, it's a little bit more up in the air. The Aurora is an option. The Galio definitely an option, although damage will be problematic. That's a dragon. See what he, oh my goodness, this was one of his favorites. I would have loved it, but instead it's going to be the Aurora. The Fizz was an answer to the TF that used to be like, you know, the hard counter all those years ago, that he did play a little bit earlier on in a different tournament, but that is the Aurora locked in.
And the Aurora is one of the ones that we were mentioning early on with the combos with the Vi to look for some burst damage and try and get that pressure, but regardless, BLG looks like they are going to still have a very stable fight for themselves. Lock in the Neeko with the Ezreal.
Yep, more roaming potential here from On as the Ksante blind is looking to be the option. That's an Olaf. We did see that yesterday, and I prefer not to think about it, so thankfully the Ksante is coming back.
But there is what we were talking about, right? Potentially go for the tank and then just go for the front to back.
I love that flash, man. I love that. Putting a bit of fear into Zeus.
Well, he's also like, I dare you.
Asking,
he's like,
do you want to do it?
He's like, do it.
Honestly, double AP doesn't look too bad when you've got a potential lethality Varus from the bottom lane.
Also, like, I don't hate if he wants to go towards something like the Olaf, especially when you've got so much setup there as well. And the ability to chase down the Ezreal might be a bit of a problem, but Orianna not going to be too happy if there's an Olaf chasing her down.
I mean, very clearly, BLG are like, please, all right, which kind of picks it going to be? You know, we're expecting a carry from you. Is it the Olaf? Is it the Gwen?
I'm seeing Delight not doing very much right now. We'll see what is actually finally going to be locked in, hopefully very soon. As we are, once again going to pop out. I was sitting there, I'm like, I don't see a timer ticking down, and Delight's supposed to be doing stuff, and he's not really doing stuff. So we are going to pop out once again. From the drop.
They've had enough time to think about this, but that would be cool.
Yeah, there's a Hen.
Okay.
Gonna come through for Zeus. And he doesn't get punished in this lane. I actually really like this pick.
Yeah, I think it sets up nicely and works well with the dive, right? The Grim Deliverance does a huge amount of work, especially when you think of like Neeko, Pantheon, Ksante all kind of playing in that same line. So I think you get a lot of value out of it. Good side lane pressure. Seems like a decent spot here for HLE.
Gives him some team fighting as well. But we'll just have to see how it works as we get onto the Rift. Just to remind everyone, we are heading towards game number 4. BLG dominated the first 2 games. We didn't even know whether HLE were here. Then HLE came back, absolutely smashed them. In the third one, we have a series appearing on our hands. It disappeared for a little while. We had chats with the analyst desk. Now we're back here, ready to get into game number 4. Everything's sorted out. The picks are lined up. And we'll just have to see whether HLE can line up some silver scrapes.
And don't go check the tapes on those first couple games. They were super exciting, back and forth. Just pinnacle of League of Legends gameplay, and this one is going to be the same.
Yeah, just look at the timestamp. You know, it's been quite some time. And so obviously they were long games.
But don't jump too far ahead in the VOD because you might skip over one of the games accidentally. So like, maybe just press the arrow key a few times.
Shout out to our stage manager, Seb. They're getting
what a hero.
Oh, speaking of getting active, Seb definitely doing a lot of that today. All right, let's hear from the fans.
Beautiful noise.
I just love it when it's the lightings and the gyros.
Yeah. The dueling crowd. Now for the dueling number 1 seeds, LCK versus LPL, and BLG still have the advantage. Had them on the ropes in the first couple games, as you said. And HLE bouncing back, but the momentum is quickly stopped, and we're going to split the map here very early on. I do like this for the Ezreal Neeko lane. Try and take advantage of your range advantage. You get that poke to land with Ezreal Neeko, and it can be very, very painful for that Nautilus lane, and you take away the threat of enemy jungle coming to gank you early on and play off the Nautilus CC. But it's now over vision, as the defensive ward there on red buff will alert them.
Also, the teleport on Gumayusi means he can be fairly vulnerable, especially when the heal now burned, if you can land that poke in the bottom lane for a potential dive. But Zeka trading well against Knight in this mid lane.
Yeah, Zeka really has woken up this series. Finding some angles in the previous game on the Victor, and now the Aurora looking good. This is a champion that he has found a lot of success on in the past. As HLE just farming with piercing arrows here, understanding that this is not their strong side of the map. Kanavi finishing off his blue side clear right now, but Shun right over there. And Zeka continuing to lay down the hurt onto this Orianna in this early stage.
Oh, so the reset actually coming through from Shun, so maybe trying to move up to protect his top side or at least look for the fight. Curious to see now as he will pick up the longsword, but Bin taking some hurt here.
Interesting, yeah, they do have a top hard out. Max, you hit the button again!
No, I didn't even. I did that, my voice would stop.
It's not just like a normal button, it's actually like a switch.
Oh, yeah, it's like you catch it with the elbow.
Yeah.
Well, we have absolutely no idea why this happened, so hopefully it's just someone needed to blow their nose, and then we can get back into the game.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you do it by pressing the button? Because that would be a good idea.
You didn't have to do it on my shirt. Like, that was crazy.
Man, I mean, if you don't have a tissue, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what am I supposed to do?
I couldn't say anything because we were casting.
Yeah. I'm in a white shirt. It doesn't show up on yours.
Atlas has my back. He saw this and he was like, pause!
I pressed the button again.
Ruling from the officials, red card, Dagda blew his nose on his
Look, all I'm saying is I got your back as well. That, it works out on both sides.
Oh, no.
Okay.
All right.
That's a red card for sure, buddy. You're out for the next game as well.
Oh, we're back in.
We're back.
See, look at that.
Yeah.
Provided the tissue.
Perfect.
And
got a new shirt.
Yeah, got a new shirt for Kobe. So each team got a pause, and now the cast has got a pause on the English side. I think we need the Korean pause to come through. Yeah, that'll probably be the next one. We'll call Chips and Noir, see whether they need a pause on the French side. We'll see. All right. So far, though, we're just getting back into laning. Still a complete mystery as to why that happened.
Kanavi's in a bit of an awkward spot, right? Because he got the Raptor, sure, but his entire bot side was stolen. So now he's trying to go in and get the blue on the opposite end. And it's Shun who's just trying to keep himself keeping pace with Kanavi as well. So Kanavi now going to be a little bit slower on his clear. And you're also going to be looking at Shun who can get this topside grab. Maybe look to help out Bin as well, as that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Gumayusi takes the full blooming burst almost.
It's interesting because he is out of potions, but as he said, they're both running the teleports. They do have vision for a quick second there as the Neeko walked up through the river. So now we're going to have an opportunity for Vi to come from Tribush. Can they get a good angle on this Ezreal? He's going to go right into his hands.
Yeah, the flash does come forward. Kanavi just decides not to charge the Vault Breaker and look for the Viper angle. Might have had it on cooldown, didn't quite see the Vi prior to that play. Shun going to steal away some Raptors. And that is going to be that jungle still under control of BLG.
Yeah, so Kanavi will be able to get the bot side scuttle, got the Raptor respawn, will be able to pick up his wolves as well at some stage. So Kanavi definitely a little bit behind when it comes towards the pressure that's been put onto the early game. And now Shun knows that Delight has no flash, but he's spotted.
Yeah, it's a nice little ward there from HLE. We'll be able to get this wave shoved on in. Knight not pressing the dissonance button, but it looks like Zeka just wants to go back home. About a wave in the lead, but that should be somewhat evened out after this wave is taken down. Max range anchor to come through, but nice buffer on the arcane shift from Viper. Gets him out of the way. Still, the poke is now starting to reign true.
Yeah, Viper doing a pretty good job staying safe with all of the early routing towards
both. Oh dear, Zeka in a lot of trouble. Minion getting a little bit feisty as well.
Both have no mana though, so I think it's kind of a, both are trying their best, but it's kind of just hitting each other with wet pool noodles,
Yeah.
And
speaking of which, let's look at the top lane.
Yeah, well, I was also going to say, we also got the early look at Knight using his teleport to get back to lane super early on because Zeka was poking him so hard. But Zeka still has his, so Zeka's going to be able to use his to reset real quickly. And they do have a roam timer here, so Nautilus pushes mid with him while Kanavi's staring down these Raptors.
Oh, Kanavi doesn't know that On is there, does manage to catch him. Shun able to lock this one down, nice anchor to connect. There is the shape splitter there for for On. And we'll be able to at least distract them momentarily. Zeka now moving towards the top side as Bin is fighting against Zeus here in this top lane. And there's a Grim Deliverance. Bin gonna have to dash his way out of this one. The passive is stacked up. The flash in, gets the knock up, and there's first blood over to Zeka, and Anchor's gonna connect here as well. It's On taking the damage, but we'll be able to find the route. Zeka gonna have to walk out, but HLE with first blood, and Zeus off to the races.
HLE able to cover the rest of the members from BLG who are trying to get to that top lane. Beautiful play from HLE. The solo lanes working in tandem.
It's not the counter pick that BLG were expecting in draft when they were flashing the Gwen, when they were flashing the other options, but it is the counter pick that Zeus will make work. And he gets in there, says, I am the top lane god, as we have another invade over Raptors. Who gets this one? And it's Knight who gets this one.
Yeah, Kanavi decided Smite is not something that he needs when there's no jungler here, but he also doesn't have enough damage to kill it before Knight does.
In this game, though, as opposed to the other, game one where BLG were able to get control as well, like the solo lanes are still working out super well for HLE. You've got a nice lead for yourself with the assist and a plate for Zeus. Zeka having that early kill is off to the races, so that's why we're seeing BLG now starting to move down to the spot lane in the hopes that they might be able to make something work. You do have the Pantheon in the jungle, but I don't think they're really going to be able to do too much.
Well, Viper is going to be pushing this one towards Gumayusi and Delight. They're not looking for too much of an angle. There are a couple of Oriannas on the map. I have a feeling the one in the bottom lane is not one.
I got a little baited because in LEC we have the name of the Neeko still there, whereas in this we don't. So I
got a little bit frightened. I did look at the minimap. I'm like, oh, so On is laning in the mid lane against Zeka, and then I
got a solution,
that's not
guys.
what's happening.
I have a solution. Let's pause.
Push the button. Push the button.
I'm just kidding. I'll never speak of it again. No, but it does. Yeah, she doesn't have the little green glow as well. Okay, Scuttle Crab is up though. So Neeko and Pantheon here for the Scuttle Crab fight, as Knight will also teleport back out. Now, they do have the early route for Kanavi to get the crab, but going for a deeper play here, Shun does drop the ward, which doesn't get swept.
All right. That is On that's going to deliver another Shun towards the jungle here. Zeus going to be pushing Bin back as best he can. Zeka is actually losing out on some of these trades here in the mid lane. Knight with a lot of power. Now that the range has come on through, level 7, feeling a bit better here for the Orianna. Catalyst is going to be helping him a lot.
Yeah, BLG just moving on and Shun up to make sure that Kanavi couldn't try and interact with Bin as he wanted to crash that wave. So now with the wave pushing back out, in a much better spot. Void Grubs are up though, and I think from this position, with the early gold on Zeka, I wouldn't be too surprised if HLE are happy to take a fight here.
Well, Knight's moving over. Kanavi is going to pull off of these grubs as there is Zeus looking for some angles towards Bin, but Bin went all out. But maybe he's going out of this top lane once again. As Zeus, the sidestep is going to mean that it's going to be all right. He did have the passive, so he's not going down just yet. And in fact, is able to walk it off for the moment. Yeah, now Delight looking to move its way in, and the passive is gone. And so Zeus is just dead. Maybe wanted to go for a little bit more of a fight there instead, but will be going down. That is a good answering kill here from BLG.
Yeah, he gets kited out in the roam over from the rest of BLG. They get the kill. They're also going to be able to get the grubs here. Delight and Kanavi still looking at them. He wants to steal away one. He's got a smite charge.
Yeah, Anchor going to connect somehow onto Knight. That was a great thread of the needle. Only level 5 Delight, though, is now On taking a lot of damage. There's the cease and desist. True shot barrage over the top of HLE's Kanavi, trying to stay alive, but Viper comes on over to lock him down. The teleport in from Zeus. Now we know why they wanted to start this one as On, having to get out of there. Gumayusi moving up now as well. Has been in amongst the fight, but the Chains of Corruption will hold him down. He tries to get away, but the Grim Deliverance is going to come through from Zeus to block that one off. Another Anchor from Delight. He is threading the needle with a very large needle this game, as Knight will be interrupted momentarily, but HLE not going to go for too much more.
Thought it might have been a bit more with that hook from Delight at the end, but everyone backs away. TP from Viper back down to the bot lane. Ended up losing a wave to try and get to that top lane play, so he is going to be down a little bit on the CS, but still HLE keeping that gold lead.
Meanwhile, Guma just walked mid and was able to push that wave in mid, so gets all the way to the tower, hits it as well. And he's going to save his teleport. So let's take another look at the beginning. Shun puts up his, all the way from that side, but Delight went all the way through anyway. And then Shun flashes over to try and get the wraparound play. It is still right next to Kanavi, ends up going down. And so it's a 1-for-1 as Viper has walked over and can help collect.
Yeah, but it's again the flash burnt by Delight, who nearly connected on towards the hook. But Bin's in no man's land at this stage, just trying to escape. Had the flash, but the amount of CC that comes through is just too much for him to try and get away from.
In the meantime, we've got another battle, as now Kanavi taking a lot of damage. Shun just walking on over. Bin going to come through, but Zeus gets to the safety of his turret. Perhaps a little bit of an overextension on Kanavi's side, as now looking for an answer here in the bottom lane. Gumayusi should be able to at least get a plate or two, but that is going to be it, as the piercing arrow does come down as well.
The never-ending grub fights. We've had more kills up there than the grubs have been taken. It's still only
one each. Yeah.
Still only one each. Guma, meanwhile, again, he still was able to hold onto his teleport, so it's 2 teleport advantages to HLE with all this scramble going on. Both Zeka and Guma have theirs, but with the extra map pressure, this is going the way of BLG as Bin is up to the tower again, getting more turret plate money.
But it's also look at Knight. He got those 3 kills. He's finished his Rod of Ages. He had Dark Seal, so he's now at 6 stacks of the Dark Seal. Nice. Very much accelerated in this game. Whereas for HLE, it's kind of odds and ends across the board.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Knight is an absolute monster. We did know that that is something to be feared as far as this pick is concerned. We didn't need to give him a killing spree at the beginning of this game on HLE's side. Still, Gumayusi getting kills, always a great thing. Zeka also being able to get 100% kill contribution as well as kill himself is going to feel nice. Is on trying to get Delight out of his jungle, but that is not going to quite work as HLE take the first strike. Next one going to be a Cloud as Delight looking for a hook angle. See whether he can actually get in there. Does find it onto On. And there's the cease and desist. They should be able to get the Neeko here. Depth charge is onto the Ezreal though. So On will be able to escape. Bolt Breaker gets Kanavi out. That felt like a free kill.
Support Honor?
Yeah.
He's like, you know what?
I mean, I was calling a panic if you want to go with Honor.
I didn't think that you could get a refund if you got something for free, but that's what they did. All right, well, Zeka now back in this mid lane against Knight, and everything is just calmed down once again.
Until we go back to Void Orbs. They're still open available. So, and also, I love the fact we're getting this heavy trading in the top side as well. Zeus really wanted to push the advantage in the matchup. With a good sidesteps, though.
Yeah, great shockwave here from Knight to hold Zeka in position. The dissonance comes down as there's the Hex Splash from Delight. Looks for the angle, does not quite get it there on to Knight. But I'm really glad that Delight is looking for these angles, looking for these plays on this Nautilus here in this game. Yeah, there's that pesky grub.
Again, they really do have to be proactive with this comp here, trying to create some plays, and getting the vision is the first step. So uses his reset, walk out mid, and then look for another setup here. Again, Shun's Pantheon ultimate, though, is going to be up very, very shortly, so they can look to make one of these side plays with it and put a stop to the proactive HLE.
Delight got some great vision on that top side though, so if you want to try and nullify that Pantheon ult, having an idea of where the camps are going to be spawning is the first stop of understanding where this Pantheon has access to. So with that, it is going to be Kanavi taking those grubs. You can expect that BLG's jungler is going to be on the bottom side, so the Aurora just going to back away for Zeka, not wanting to contest this Orianna.
Yeah, manages to clear out the wave as well, so no harm, no foul. And the Raptors are going to be the trade here for Shun. We can see in the jungle, things very, very even. Same to be said for the top side of the map. And you've got a 700 gold lead for Knight with those 3 kills. Still very even on farm, but that Rod of Ages starting to stack up. And you were talking about the Dark Seal, very scary with all of those extra stats that you do get from those early stacks that he's picked up. Zeus here has the hard task of dealing with this Orianna, who is now just eating plates.
I will say, though, this is where Knight is at his most vulnerable. Like, if Delight can get in here, which he's trying to, or you get that point and click with the cease and desist and the Vi, Knight will go down to Zeus. So you definitely want BLG to be able to protect him. And at the moment, you do have On here, but that's not a huge amount to try and help out with 3 members of HLE here.
The thing for HLE, as Kanavi goes for it anyway.
Yeah. On taking a bit of damage, Kanavi sidesteps on those Tangle Bobs, gets the Vault Breaker max range, cease and desist, they hold him in position, the Shockwave's decent, but the hook is better. Shun's still going to make his way down though, the Grand Starfall is good for the Grim Deliverance, looking to turn the play around, gets the knock up on the Knight, but still, he dies, couldn't stack it up, and now Gumayusi turns up, looks to get the snipe on Knight, doesn't do nearly enough damage, and Shun picks up a double, and it's Blast Cones for the escape here for HLE.
BLG protect the play! HLE knew to try and jump on Knight, but the backup is there, and BLG respond.
Yeah, Shun had just reset. Good flash from him as well. Kanavi does not have ult, so there's no real pressure here on Knight as he's going to be able to push in again. And Knight is so dangerous on this Orianna. Being protected, getting more money, 1,000 now is the individual gold lead for him, and up to 8 stacks after the skirmish.
And Zeka must be feeling pretty annoyed that his lane opponent just keeps getting more and more money here in this game. Obviously not going to be matching up against him as much as this game continues. It's one of those interesting stories, though, as he's been the benefactor of just being in these fights at the right times, and Knight accelerating himself to a brilliant position very early on in this game. And it's exactly how an Orianna wants to be positioned.
So Kanavi here is going to force on. I was wondering if they were going to be more cautious and like respect the Pantheon ult. Pantheon had just reset into the Fountain, but didn't have vision. But they do get the kill. They actually click on this time, so they do finish him off. But Shun arrives with Viper. Look how quickly they can actually kill Zeus here. Viper with his lethal tempo stacked up. And then Shun flashes here, the ultimate critical, so that they can then follow.
And also is the fact that HLE went for this play as Gumayusi had reset in mid lane, so Viper was able to move down to the play without his counterpart on HLE being able to respond. So Knight now once more in this side lane, but much more attention to the top lane.
Now Kanavi, let's get onto his Grump. He's got a few friends in the area, as Shun and On both moving up, looking for a bit of an angle. Zeus taking some damage here as well, as, not having a great time in tonight right now. At least he has a null magic mantle. It just doesn't look like it's doing all that much, as the alternator has now been purchased by Knight. And Rift Herald looking to be started up. Viper moving over. And I think that they should be able to get this. Kanavi not looking too interested, maybe going for a trade, grabbing a double dragon if they could. They are beelining in that direction, and they have a lot of vision towards this bottom side.
Hextech Protobelt just completed for Knight, though. 2-item spike. Kind of nice here for the Orianna if BLG want to contest, but honestly, I think with the position they're in, they're just going to be happy to take the plate for a bit in the top side, put a bit more pressure. But as I say that, they're moving in, but I think this dragon's gone.
Yeah, it's just going to be taken here by Kanavi.
Yeah, I mean, good lead-up vision all around through the jungle of BLG, so they're able to slip in and take it, keep their dragon stacking going. They do still have to be fairly cautious. I mean, Knight still has not lost in spring on this champion. His KDA is 34.7.
That's a big one.
Currently on this one. Of course, you get to throw lots of Knight stats around from, from how dominant he has been, but it's always fun to throw him around anyway.
On does find a little bit of an angle here, doesn't have a lot of follow-up, but Gumayusi still takes some damage. Protobelt is done for the Neeko as well.
Question will be, will they actually be able to get that kill on him with their Vi, with their Nautilus? They have so much possibility of getting a good flank, but everybody's going bottom, so kind of hard to go attack Knight and even get his flash when all of BLG consistently are leaning to that side of the map and playing around him when he's pushing up to a tower. So with flash, with Protobelt, you actually have quite a lot of mobility on this champion, and we'll see if HLE are able to get one of their flanks off with this team comp. It can be devastating, with Zaahen from one side and an Aurora from the other, but top side, they're actually making a play now.
Yeah, Bin gonna jump on top of Zeus here as Grim Deliverance is an interesting choice. Zeus just going to get the dash out of the Ksante. So the Coinbase gold grind between Zeka and Knight. Knight still in a lot of control, 1,500 the lead for him. And Zeus now, I mean, now that he's laning against Bin, I think he's feeling a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how passive Knight is playing once he doesn't have his jungler and support on that side of the map. He's like, look, I'm going to back away, even with signing a ward in Tribe Rush, which kind of just says he does not want to give this gold over. And as long as BLG are able to keep him safe, play for these dragons, I think you're in an okay spot. But for HLE, it is kind of trying to find those moments where you get a play towards Viper or towards Bane, or if Knight is overextended, to get this gold back in your favor.
And this is a close game, guys.
Yeah.
700 gold.
This is scrap.
At 20 minutes.
We did it.
Finally.
It only took 3 pauses.
Good job, everyone.
4 assists. Yeah.
And I really, really want to see if at the next, wait a second, ultimate.
There it is, Grant Starfall to come on through. Zeus going to be able to get to the next brush. Shun moving over and just wanders it off.
Yeah, Shun kind of checks a couple different angles here, but Zeus just straight walked out.
Yeah.
Through the brush there, and now they get a pick of their own.
The Anchor's going to miss, but the Chains of Corruption do land, and there is On going down. They'll take any pick that they can get, as Knight was picking up that wave towards the top side. Only a couple of plates left up there, and HLE are able to now get some invading done.
Beautiful. Catch On into the rotation over. Point and click. See him and kill him immediately. Nice follow-up there with the lockdown. But still, we're looking at this next dragon. This next dragon, while it's not Dragon Soul, it is kind of a pivot point in the game. And if HLE can get their vision set up leading up to the dragon, then it gives them way better area to create the dream team fight that they have with these champions that are trying to get the pincer, trying to get that dive.
And with Storm Surge just completed on Zeka as well off that reset, he's in a very good spot to follow up on the buy engage, find that burst. Even if you do have some of the mobility on picks like this Ezreal, you still have the opportunity to burst them out with just how much raw damage is available for HLE right now.
Oof. Knight with an arm guard also, though. Man, there's just more safety layers here.
Yeah.
Proto Belt with the arm guard, with the flash as well.
He is very scary. I think on BLG's side, they just need to trust in Knight. And that has been a pretty good strategy so far this year, and many years in the past as well. But Zeka is still strong. You mentioned the Storm Surge does have that one, so that the Between Worlds can certainly hurt. And HLE still have the composition that can select a target to die. As, all right, there is a little bit of a route onto Zeka, as On taking a lot of damage here. We'll be able to back away as Knight just deals with this top outer turret.
Yeah, and BLG basically giving Knight a free lane, saying, hey, you go hit level 16, buddy. Next wave should give it to the Orianna, and that would be a devastating shockwave if it connects in a fight.
Pharrell Lord would be proud. It's okay. Zeka now. That's a very old reference. I apologize. I don't think that one's going to ring.
3,000 ELO shockwave. I got you, buddy.
Yeah, thankfully. I knew you were there, Kobe. As Guma clears out this wave, and the Ksante towards the bottom side is going to be getting that one pushed forward as well. HLE still with a composition that can certainly tango later on into the game as well. But the Rift Herald is going to come on down, and BLG, I'm just seeing like Viper on Ezreal. This guy's been a magician late game on this champion, and Orianna needs no introduction as far as value later on is concerned. The Rift Herald is not going to do very much of anything at all as On goes maybe a little bit too deep. They do manage to take down a turret here as the Dragon is going to be secured by Shun. Looks to try and turn it here onto Delight. We need a depth charge to come through. It'll get the knock-up onto Shun as now Viper trying to play off to the side. And Zeus, can he stack up the passive this time? The answer is yes. Grim Deliverance is going to come in, but it's going to be a taxi out for Bin. They kill him though before he can escape. And On is thrown through the wall as Between Worlds came on down. Viper playing this one out gorgeously though. The arcade shifts the double kill. And there's the resurrection, but where is he being resurrected to? Zeus comes up and kind of wishes he had stayed down.
BLG, protect the president! Knight will not go down. On with a massive pop blossom wins the fight for BLG.
They do not hesitate. They force the light out of the fight. So much damage into him. He does the ultimate flash away, and then look at the re-engage. They do get the passive stack up for Zeus, and he gets his ultimate over, but everybody collapses back into this corridor,
as well.
and then On strikes.
Huge shockwave, the pop blossom to follow, the snipe onto Gumayusi with the spear. BLG may have just ripped the heart out of HLE with that play.
And if you didn't think BLG champions did enough damage, did you see the coach replay? The jump kick as well.
Oh man, Danny absolutely popping off in the coach's booth. And they pick up the Baron off the back of this as well. You can understand the celebration. 700 gold on the Rebel Baron power play, but that will be extended even if it is an early Baron. 3.4 thousand is the largest lead we've had so far this game because it's been a flat line throughout it so far. But now after this, I mean, 10 out of 10 for Knight. That's his kill participation as well as his performance so far in this game. Unbelievable stuff.
And there's your Ezreal stats atlas for Viper. His most played champion and Knight's most played champion in the same game.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that Viper got some notoriety on for quite some years, both in the LCK and the LPL. He's continuing to play fantastically. Let's see whether HLE have got a miracle in them. Obviously, it's not the same kind of snowball that we saw in the first 3 games, but it's getting close.
Yeah, they're trying to leave Zeus in towards his mid lane, was taking the Raptors, thinking about a flank, but BLG congregating on this bottom side as they get the wave pushed in. It is difficult to kill this Baroned up creep without the Varus, so just take a pop shot to the tower and BLG happy to support it.
And yeah, they just can't walk towards the orb The orb is just too frightening. That's Azonia's fully completed here, 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. And Knight absolutely off to the races. And that stick on Zeka that we were talking about in the previous game, where it was like, that's the advantage that he has. It is now not looking very similar at all, as completed items are just coming through thick and fast here for Knight. Zeka now looking for an angle, though. He could go between the worlds as Knight taking some damage. Piercing arrow going to connect there as well. At least I think it did, as Kanavi trying to eat some honey fruit, but doesn't want to take that risk, as looking for Zeus here towards his top side. Grand Starfall does bring Shun up there, as now Viper possibly caught out of position. Kanavi going to be dancing away from him, though, and now we'll see whether Zeus can keep himself alive for long enough to get that passive back up again. The Grim Deliverance comes down. Pop Blossom going to connect, and they destroy Zeus. HLE did get one back on to On, though.
Yeah, On was stuck inside the Baron pit, and they actually do pull one back for HLE. So a little bit of room to work with as they rotate everyone mid, and we'll get the tower off that.
So honestly, HLE coming out the better for wear off of that. Sure, you do lose Zeus, but you get a kill, you get the tower, you get some much needed gold. Even having Zek in this bottom side for the majority of that, picking up some of the creep waves. I mean, those are the kind of mistakes that you want to see BLG making.
And Gumayusi does have 3 items completed. We know that his Varus can be absolutely devastating. This is about the stage of the game where he is going to have maximum value, because Bin is starting to get very, very large, and Lethality Varus not as good at getting through these tanks. Thornmail is done. Maybe it's, it might be...
I think it's just on Zeus.
Yeah,
but
that'll be hard.
He could just steal 2 dragons. How about that? And a Baron.
It is Guma. That's pretty, that's
That's
doable.
his move.
Yeah.
See if he can steal some objectives for HLE, because BLG have the gold advantage, and it's concentrated gold advantage. You know, a lot onto Knight, onto this Orianna champion with the Medjais, so it's incredibly efficient here for their team. And they do have a lot of ways to deliver this shockwave. With Shun having a Guardian Angel, the Pantheon can just flash, stun right into their point and click and try to be the delivery. So Dragon will be avoided for now for HLE. Guma not in sight, so your smite is safe.
Yep, and HLE probably pretty happy that it's an Ocean Soul this game as well. A couple of Ocean Dragons, not going to be end of the world for them to give up. But that will start to get more and more dangerous as we look down the barrel of things like 3 and 4 of them, which can start to become a little bit of a problem. But buying themselves about 5 minutes of respite as True Barrage sailing down this mid lane one more time. This gold lead hasn't extended past that 4,000 gold mark, as a clone gets broken like a vault.
Oh, they're on a ward, though. They don't realize.
Well, can HLE keep them interested, though? That's the question. As, well, if you throw an orb at the guy, I think you're going to give yourself away no matter what.
I do think, though, for BLG, you are pretty reliant on having the Baron to try and get out through these outer turrets, right? And I think this is kind of the thing we've seen a lot, is that especially when you're up against like the poke Varus, the wave clear from Zeka as well, that without that, I think it's a lot more difficult to push this game forward. Also, HLE have just abandoned Dragons and said, yeah, we're going to just play for sides. So that goal lead is going to stagnate for a little bit, at least for 50 seconds.
Yeah, it's just too dangerous. If you funnel in and you're trying to siege, then there's a lot of angles for HLE to get these engages off with their Nautilus Vi combinations. And so stick to the safer game plan out in the neutral territory here. And just look to the Baron, 30 seconds, and then you can try and draw HLE over to area that you already have controlled with vision, and they're going to find...
Yeah, that's going to be the Grand Starfall. Shun a little bit further away from Zeus that he wants to be, and Delight is going to be there for the defense. The anchor is going to land. Flash out, though, from Delight. Didn't really like that angle very much as he spots On coming out of the Tri-Brush. Good control here for BLG. They look to just really isolate this Baron, make sure there is no vision as Kanavi goes in. Not sure about that one. Zeus off to the other side is making that one work, but Zeka goes between the worlds. Viper off to the side is tagged by Delight. Shun now getting taken down to the GA, and Kanavi just going to die because he doesn't have that item. Zeus should be able to use his passive massive to stay alive, but once again, there are a few too many people in the vicinity. He does get the ulti, crashes down on top of Shun. On is going to be executed as well, as Bin is looking for the angle. Zeka and Gumayusi still alive. Delight limping from the battle, and there is Bin taking him down. Guma will be ushered towards his inhibitor turret, but is he even safe there? There's an orb on top of Bin, making him nearly immortal, and Gumayusi will be obliterated by this Ksante. Zeka now with a couple of invaders in his house, looking to try and see whether he can get rid of them, but BLG, they just want to head over towards maybe a Baron, but they don't have a jungler.
Yeah, BLG, they will chase Guma to the ends of the earth there, inside your own base, and they finish the kill, they'll finish the tower, and they will turn to finish the job. They increase their gold lead, and they still have the vision set up from the previous time, so they can go reset and then return to Baron again.
Yeah, I think that might have been the best opportunity for HLE, because there was a couple of whoopsies when it came toward the ultimates from BLG, but BLG still able to make it work. As On stepping forward, spots out Kanavi, but I don't think it'd be much else, just being a nuisance as On is one to do, I will say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see it in this fight, right? Because you get this as Kanavi goes in, the shockwave doesn't connect onto Kanavi, and I think that's why HLE full commit, thinking maybe they've got a chance here. But as this starts to follow through, Delight gets burst out by Viper, they can't really get on towards Knight. Bin is doing a good job of keeping Zeus out of the equation, and even as they try to go in to help out Zeus, On completely whiffs on the Pop Blossom as well in just a moment, as he tries to go forward onto Zeka, but still, BLG, just too much damage from Viper and Knight right now.
Yeah, I mean, even with the flash into the pit and the whiff there, as you say, with the extra chase down here, they can follow him inside the base, get the extra kill, and then as we're looking at it, again, return to the Baron setup. You still have the vision work that you did last time around to play off of. They can just repeat the process.
Well, they do get some information as to what's happening on this Baron, but Banana Brush control is going to be there for BLG. They are ready for the turn. Pathmaker there from Bin. The Baron down very, very low. Kanavi just not there in time. The pullback does come through, but Bin may not be the target they're looking for. Chains of Corruption. They do layer this CC onto the Ksante, but he is an absolute brick wall, and he just jogged it off.
HLE still want to try and contest here, though. They want to try and stop BLG from resetting. He gets out of the bush, but now it's a 4v5. HLE.
All right.
Got teleport, though.
Yep, Zeus is down very, very low. Those Mystic Shots really starting to hurt here from Viper. True Shot Barrage does come on through as Bin makes his way back with a gigantic shield. Piercing Arrows not piercing that one anytime soon, as HLE will slink away. That is going to be soul point available for both teams. BLG in a much healthier position to go for it.
Yeah, HLE, I think there's no way you want to throw the game at this Dragon. Even though you're down in gold, even though they just got Baron, you still have to hope at a better setup. Don't risk it over Dragon number 3.
I think Gumayusi, though, with all these Ocean Dragons, about to become pretty useless on this poke Varus. That poke is not going to stick around for very long, and it feels more and more like BLG are starting to punch their ticket to finals.
Not to mention, I mean, even Knight feels too tanky for him to get through. He's got health on the Rod of Ages, health on the Dash Cannon, and then Azonia's. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a task that the Lethality Varus can really do by himself. Even if he does, you know, land an arrow towards an Ezreal, you can see those ultis raining on down. Chains of Corruption having to be used defensively here as Shun doesn't quite have the GA back available, but that will be up relatively soon as Bin was looking for an angle as well. Kanavi now finally with his GA, as there is one on Zeus as well, who does clear up this bottom outer turret to try and bring them back into touching distance with this gold. But it's the compositions that are starting to become a problem for HLE.
Yeah, they're going to have to find some crazy angle, and they're going for it now. Teleport with the flank from Delight.
That is definitely an angle. Depth Charge comes in, and Zeka will find it. Takes down Viper. Okay, that is a big pick here for HLE. Still 4 minutes on a Baron. There's 4 minutes on a Drake. Not a whole lot to go for, but maybe they can take a turret or two.
They bide their time. They give away the Dragon. They split push, and they wait for an opportunity. Now another.
Yeah, Shockwave going to connect onto Zeus as he gets the knock-up on tonight, pulls him back. Grim Deliverance as Shun is now doing battle. Gumayusi does not want to 1v1 the Pantheon, and now he knows why. As Kanavi going to get pulled away by Bin, put down to the GA. Shun going to follow suit. Zeus is dealt with, and Bin is now just going to destroy this Vi with the help of On. who actually takes the kill for himself. BLG find the angle.
And that is one step too far into BLG territory. They punish HLE, and they're going to run it straight down mid.
Azanya's burned, 3 GAs burned, but it's HLE who are actually burned in the end. Zeka and Delight have to hold on. Decent damage on tonight, but can he do more?
Well, there's 25 stacks on that Magi's, man. If that orb comes in anywhere near any of these HLE members, it could just be lights out, and that shockwave is just about back up again. First inhibitor going to go down, but BLG, a lot of respect here as they will back away, look to spend some money and set up for the next objective.
You see as Zeus tries to go in, the damage comes out very, very quickly. The shockwave doing good work, but they jump on towards Knight because he knows that he has that GA, but the pop blossom from on, absolutely huge to buy that space alongside the Zanyas. Kanavi taken out by Bin, and it's Pantheon happy to go into the GA, just again to separate HLE and deny them any sort of follow-up on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus had his guardian angel, so he really wanted to chase this play and make their comeback now, but they still had Zeka so far away. You could see on the mini-map that Aurora walking the entire time, and so they didn't have the necessary pieces to actually finish that play. And now BLG are on the offense.
Well, Shun gonna get knocked up, no GA this time around as he's caught by Zeus. He gets into the backline, but he's just obliterated. My God, the damage out of Viper. True shot barrage to sail on through, but Zeka did manage to get himself a kill. Now looking to try and take down this Ezreal once again. As he's looking to do some funny business, does have the teleport and not going to be able to use it. He'll be taken out. It's On that picks up that kill, and it's now only Guma left to try and pick up the pieces, and I don't think it's going to be enough.
It's a 1 for 4. Gumayusi has to clear the wave, but stepping up is so dangerous against BLG right now.
Okay, will there be enough wave clear? That is the question. I do not think so, as Ben also going to make sure that Gumayushi's not allowed to press any buttons. He can tank up 2 Nexus turrets, and it looks to me like BLG has a date in the finals. HLE are going to have to go through another target if they want the rematch, and honestly, with this performance, I don't know whether anyone wants to face off against BLG.
And will they be able to even touch Knight if they do get a rematch? Here's Deathless in this Orianna game, improves that KDA. Analyst desk, what's your takeaway?
We hated his build. We love this play. Builds don't matter in Pro League of Legends. That's our take.
Listen, he's the best player in the world right now. He carried this game with the first pick Orianna. I'd say Viper had an amazing performance on the Ezreal.
A little bit of help from Viper. Viper was insane this game.
Orianna was 3-0.
Their team is incredible, but throughout this series, Knight, I think, was the best performer on this BLG team, who are now in the grand finals of MSI.
Our upper player of